Hey, what's up everybody? So as some of you know, I'm creating a new game in Unreal Engine, a space survival simulator type game that's going to be available on Steam later this year, called Outpost 14. And I'm working on creating some introduction videos, some trailer pieces, some cutscenes for this using Unreal Engine and DaVinci Resolve. And so I wanted to create a little video and show how I'm doing some of these things. So let's start out here in Unreal Engine, and as you can see, I've got my first level built here, and I've just got some basic stuff. Let's see, I've got this planet, I've got a couple of moons, I've got this spaceship asset. Let's see if it will let me get to where I can control, and a couple of cameras. And that's pretty much it for this, and it's all inside of a post-process volume, and I have the auto exposure turned off. I've got it on manual. That's why everything looks kind of dark here. I like that for the more cinematic look. Here's what we've got going on. First of all, I set everything to 24 frames per second. I just feel like it looks more filmic that way, more cinematic. In fact, it even says film here, so that works out well for DaVinci Resolve also. Alright, so let's talk about these assets for a second. This planet and these moons are part of the Planet Creator plugin from the marketplace. I'm not sure how much that currently costs. I may have gotten it as a monthly free thing, or I may have paid a small amount for it. It's well worth it either way if you're doing any kind of space stuff, because even though these planets aren't full size, like you can't zoom all the way into it, they look good at a distance, and they have like animated clouds, and you can change several things about them. So I've tweaked this a little bit to look Earth-like but not Earth exact, and I've added a couple of moons here to make it look like it is another world, which it's supposed to be. The spaceship models that I'm using are from Kitbash 3D, and I like a lot of their stuff. And this is from their spaceships model set, and I think I just grabbed one of their default pieces because I'm only kind of showing an edge of it. But as you can see, this is a pretty cool looking model, and I'm using another like little component piece, another capsule. Let's see, where's that? I'm using it here for this fall, and so this is in the game. This is what you start out with. You are a robot that's inside of this, and you have been deployed to this other planet to set up this outpost, Outpost 14, for the humans that are arriving soon. So you better do a good job, or they're not going to make it. So at any rate, this cutscene starts out, you've already seen it because hopefully I played it at the beginning of this video, but you're seeing the spaceship here. There'll be some sound effects. It deploys the pod down. The next shot, the pod is here, entering the atmosphere of the planet. Whatever, I'm not really sure what I named the planet in the video. Those things I just kind of make up on the fly. So anyway, let's move on to the next scene. And so in this scene, we've shifted view to the planet, and the little pod is coming in for a landing. Let's see. Go to this view, and you see the camera kind of tracks it across. And the next scene after this will be, it on the ground with the robot coming out. That's the scene I'm working on next. And so, this is some pretty nice looking landscape stuff. I had to do a little bit of adjusting with this because it was an 8K landscape, and that was a little bit too much for my video card to render out with the high quality video. So, but as you can see, this looks pretty good to me. So, some other things I've done here, like with the camera, I typically set the lens to 12mm or 24mm, something fairly wide to get these nice landscape shots. And I will typically set the aperture fairly low. That just kind of looks more like a cinema lens to me. And sometimes I will I did it on the other one, but I didn't do it on this one. But with the focus, you can actually track an object. So, you know, I could tell this camera, oh, I do it here actually too. So I am tracking to this capsule. So wherever this capsule is, it's going to change the focus distance. And actually, I believe you can see it change right here. As I'm scrolling through this, you can see that focus distance change. So that it keeps that in focus at all times. Okay, so let's see. Let's move over to DaVinci Resolve, and I'll show you how I put all this together and create a video file. Oh, actually, let's back up 1 second. You're missing something here, Brian. So to export these videos in the best quality, you're going to want to use the Apple ProRes. And so to do that, you want to go to the plugins, and you want to type in ProRes, and you want to make sure that this Apple ProRes media is enabled. It's going to require you to restart if you haven't already enabled that, but that's going to give you the better options here for the export. So let's see, let's go to the movie render queue. Let's make sure that we're on this and not the legacy one, and let's see, so let's open this up, and we're going to go into the config here. I don't really care about this JPEG sequence. I want to use this Apple ProRes 10 to 12-bit, and I usually will use the Apple ProRes 422 HQ. That's a pretty good container for what we're going to do going forward, and it's not the file size is not too huge on that. So everything else here is going to be okay for me for right now, so let's just accept this and let's hit render. And so it's going to kind of go through the scene. It's going to give you a low quality preview here as it's creating the higher quality file. And so let's see, we'll just let this roll through. The camera change. Alright, and so that's it. Now I have the video saved, and so let's jump over to DaVinci Resolve and continue. Alright, so in DaVinci Resolve, this is my project file. I've got my 2 clips that I created. This one was, you know, since I used the same scene, I just created both clips in the same thing and just did a camera change from within Unreal. And then the second one, I created a whole other scene and exported the secondary video. And I'll have a 4th and a 5th and a 6th part of this introduction to the game, you know, as well. I just kind of wanted to go ahead and stop here and show how I was doing this. So I pull them all in on the cut timeline here. Typically, you know, I have this video and I have this one and I have like the overlap. And then I will do most of my work here in the edit tab. And so in this case, I've added a couple of these text overlays, and these are the default ones that come with DaVinci. I'm not sure if they come with the free version or not. I'm on the paid version, but these are like the, let's see, what are they? They're the titles, and I think they're like the digital glitch lower third or something. Yeah, so they're these things, but I just changed the fonts to match the fonts that I'm using for my game. And so, you know, I just made up some information here about what this planet is. As you can see, here's that clip, and then, you know, this right here, this is where I introduced the game, feature home of. Shifting over to this scene, going through here, all looks pretty nice. You may notice that the planet looks quite a bit different, more green. That is this, I put an adjustment clip here. This is what I like to do when I'm playing around with LUTs or with other kind of color grading things. I like to put an adjustment clip, that way I can adjust everything all at once and kind of see how it looks. And so let's see, this, you can see that's what it was before, and this is after. And so I'm just using, you know, a cinematic LUT from maybe Triune or something. I have a bunch of LUTs that I've collected over the past few years. And the way that I typically would apply that is I'd go to the color tab, and my adjustment clip is going to show up as a different clip here. And on this one, I will, you know, add a node, add a serial node, and on this extra node, and I do this so that, you know, I can disable it and see like this. On this node, I add a LUT, and I still need to add some sound effects and everything else to this, and I will do that here in the edit tab. So as I do my sound design and creating some theme music for this. That'll be one of the next steps. And speaking of next steps, here's some of the robot that I'm building in Blender that will be part of the next scene as this capsule lands in the landscape and the robot is deployed to begin to build the base and collect resources from the local landscape. So make sure you subscribe if you like this type of content. I'll be going through the whole process of building this game and getting it on Steam on this channel and my other channel as well. So take a look in the description for any links, and leave comments if you have questions, and thanks for watching.